All right, so it's noon. We can get started and I'll begin. So welcome everyone to Solving Career Burnout, How to Recharge and Get Re-Inspired During COVID-19. My name is Rebecca Luber and I'm the Director of Career and Business Engagement with the University of Minnesota Alumni Association. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. Our presenter, Hallie Crawford, is our speaker today, and I'll be doing more of introduction in just a few moments. All right, so as always, we'd like to thank our donors and members of the University of Minnesota Alumni Association for powering our alumni webinar series. Thank you so much for your support. And just to kind of show you some upcoming offerings that we have this coming year, specifically starting with this fall, we have a number of master classes that you may be interested in. We have a master class on alumni job search strategies, and that registration period opens today through September 4th or until it closes. We also are offering a masterclass on LinkedIn and a masterclass on applying to graduate school. So definitely check out those offerings and feel free to recommend those to anyone that may be interested in. Those are open to both alumni and friends of the Alumni Association. All right. Here we have some upcoming webinars that you may also be interested in. You can see here a number of them on your screen, ranging from job search strategies to LinkedIn, graduate school, and so forth. So these here on your screen are definitely free offerings to check out. And you can find those at umnalumni.org/virtual. Alrighty, so if you're listening in by Zoom and you'd like to do so by phone, use the phone option. You can see here on your screen, there's a webinar ID. You can type that in to locate the phone option after you dial in the number here. All right, so without further ado, I'll introduce Hallie Crawford. Our presenter, Hallie Crawford, has been a certified career coach and national career expert for 19 years. Her company, Create Your Career Path, and team of coaches have helped thousands of people worldwide identify and transition into their dream career, effectively navigate their job search, and enhance their performance at work. Hallie is regularly featured as a career expert in the media, including U.S. News, Forbes.com, The Wall Street Journal, CNN, and Fox News. And I'll let Hallie take it away from there.
Thanks, Rebecca, and thank you everyone for being here today. We greatly appreciate it, especially during this unsettling and crazy time that looks like it's going to be continuing through the rest of the year at least. So let me go ahead and pull up my slides and we will get started. Bear with me one second. Let me make sure I get it all right. Okay, great. Rebecca, can you see my slides okay?
I can.
Okay, good. All right, good. Thank you. All right, so I've got a split screen here, everyone, as I'm sure most of you do or understand. So just bear with me a little bit if I'm looking back and forth a bit as we talk today. So obviously during these times, a lot of our clients we are finding are just that much more burned out. We've heard of Zoom fatigue. We've heard clients tell us that it's just hard to stay motivated. When I was watching the news this morning, they were kind of joking around about how, yeah, we know everyone is kind of waking up later than usual. It's just so much easier to get burned out during these times. And one of the other things that we have found or heard from our clients as well is that because they're not going into the office, they're feeling like not as enthusiastic or fulfilled about their jobs, understandably, because, just having that energy of going to work was something that kind of kept them going. And others are saying, I really like my coworkers and now I don't get to see them anymore. And some people are even saying, like, I realize I don't like my job that much, that a lot of what I was enjoying about work was actually my coworkers and that work environment. So please know, first of all, as we move here to the first slide here, is that we totally understand if you're feeling burned out for any different reason due to COVID-19 especially, we totally get it and know that you are not alone. One of the things I did want to mention on this particular slide as well, though, is that because everyone is in a different state of flux or unsettled or job search mode, whatever's going on for you, during this crazy time, we are trying to pump out as much information as we can to help you all with your different scenarios and, what's happening. So please feel free to check out our career blog here on our website, as well as connect with us on LinkedIn, find me directly, because we are posting a lot of free content, again, to help people as much as possible during these crazy, crazy times. So don't hesitate to follow us and check those things out. So there are lots of different reasons that we can feel this sense of career burnout, honestly, whether it's COVID or not. So before this, we were working with clients on feeling burned out as well. And it could be these different reasons on the slide, but there could be other ones too. And so one of the first things we want you to think about to kind of set the stage here is we want you to think about what's going on for you that is causing the burnout. Is it that you're just kind of bored and this working from home thing makes you really antsy because, let's say, you're extroverted and you need that connection or that interaction with others? Or is it that you're bored because you're just not as engaged in your work, or maybe things have slowed down work-wise? For others of you, it may be that you're overworked and things are just kind of blowing up and just crazy. Or others of you may say, gosh, I just haven't felt challenged, honestly, even well before COVID, in my career path in a really long time. So start to think about, first of all, everyone, and go ahead and take some notes here while we're talking today. With a pen and paper, what do you think, what's your gut instinct about what is causing this burnout? And one of the things that, kind of first items here, and then we'll get to our agenda in our next slide, is that we know kind of from all of our clients, the majority of the people, I would say like 99% of them, they want to have some sort of sense of challenge and sense of accomplishment in their work. And so one of the things, just kind of an overarching theme that we have found with people that you want to think about is, do I still feel challenged in my work? And we need you to create challenges on a regular basis for yourself. So part of why this slide is here is that I want you all to know that I experience this sense of burnout too. Even though I've been coaching and training for over 20 years now, and I absolutely do still love it and feel like it's what I'm meant to do, there are times in my career, I would say give or take every 3 to 5 years, where I feel like I need to create a fresh new challenge for myself in my business. Whether it's I need to attend a conference more regularly to learn how to coach people differently, or how to host, group coaching or whatever it is. I need to perform my job in a different way, or mix things up, or grow and change my role over time with my business. I have grown more into, less about the coaching and more about running the business. And so I have found, and you all may notice this once you start to think about this burnout, that there's always going to be kind of natural ebbs and flows to our career path, even if we are in the right career or in the right job. It's natural to feel like you've got to mix things up on a regular basis. And I would think about for yourselves, how often is this? For me, like I said, it's about every 3 to 5 years where I need to, write a new book and publish something new or work on something new or different. So I want you to know 2 things. Number one, I totally understand how this feels because I have to deal with it myself, even though I am in the right career path. And number 2, there are different things that you can do to kind of mix things up. And you want to think about the kind of trajectory of your career, however long you've been in it, and how often every few years you feel like you need to make a change or create a new challenge for yourself. Let's talk next about our agenda here. So we're going to discuss the situations and impact of career burnout, give you 10 tips to manage it more effectively, and we want you at the very end, 2 things. We want you to walk away today with at least 1 action step that you will take in the next week to overcome this and make it better. And we also want you to think about having an accountability partner for this, because one of the things that we have found, especially with burnout in this particular situation, is that having a partner to kind of pick you up and prod you is especially important, because when we start to feel burned out and frustrated, I don't know about you all, but I tend to kind of go into a hole a little bit and kind of retract and get small and maybe avoid talking with people or connecting with people as much. And we don't want that to happen to you all. So one of your action steps, we absolutely want to have it be an accountability partner, someone that's going to help you with this and kind of push you through the burnout as you work through your action steps. If anyone would like, by the way, a copy of our presentation today, please don't hesitate to reach out. Just email us at admin@halliecrawford.com, and we would be happy to share a copy of the presentation with you so that you don't have to feel like you're frantically writing everything down. I am a big note taker, and so I know how that feels and want you to take that pressure off of you guys a little bit. So let's talk about our first slide here and why this happens. What's the situation and what's the impact? And as I said a few minutes ago, it is really important to first understand why this is happening, because in some cases you might end up saying, gosh, it's been a really long time that I felt this way, and I actually need to change jobs, or I need to change companies, or whatever it is, or to a different department within my organization. You need to understand how long the burnout has been happening for you and why it's occurring in order to help you understand how big of a shift or change, what kind of action steps you need to take, okay? So why it happens are some obvious reasons and some less obvious. So if you've been at a specific job or in a specific role or within a specific organization or company for a really long time, that can be one reason for burnout. It could also be that you're called upon to do something that you're really, really good at, but you no longer enjoy. You're just sick of doing Excel spreadsheets or something else. We have had clients tell us this kind of thing all the time. I am great at this, but I'm so tired of doing it, and people keep asking me to do it because they know I can do it really well. It could be that there are life or career changes that have occurred to you. This can include COVID-19. It could be something else outside of COVID-19. But bottom line is, when we have life or career shifts or situations change or a big life event occur, what's rewarding for us and fulfilling and our values can change as a result of those things. So this could be one of the reasons for career burnout as well. And then finally, if you've been, if you're more senior in your career, like I am, I'm 47, so I can say that, your workload can increase, or the way that you do your work or what is expected of you can increase or change over time as your competency increases. And so that could be another reason for burnout as well. Our roles will change as we grow and shift in our industry. And sometimes for people, we might say, gosh, I started out in this job because I liked doing the tactical or the action-oriented work, and now that I'm in a management role, I don't like it as much. The negative impact, as you all might be experiencing now, are that we could be bored, lethargic, just less interested in our jobs overall, and sometimes we can just feel totally overwhelmed. And as a result, the bad part is that we become less effective, efficient, and successful. So the goal is not to be like the woman on the slide here, but figure out, what we need to do about this. So let's go ahead, if we could launch our first poll, Rebecca, that would be great. And our first poll is this assessment. Like we said a few minutes ago, how many of you identify with these obstacles? Is it, I've been in my job for a long time and I'm just sick of doing it? Is it something else? Is it, I've just been in this specific role or company or organization? And so if we can do the first, you know what, Rebecca, I need to do the polls because I'm the host. Here we go. Sorry, everybody, my bad. Okay, so Rebecca, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so just if you could go ahead and participate, everybody. Sorry, I'm not used to using my glasses. My eyesight went down after 40. Okay, good. So we've got people voting. Wonderful, wonderful. I'll just take a look at this for a second. Almost up to 80% here. Fantastic. And Rebecca, if you could do the hand raising, if there's something I need to do, just please let me know if you can check those out, just in case.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at the polls.
So yeah, once you are interested in closing the poll, then you can, I believe there's a button to close it, and then you can show the poll to everyone, those results.
Okay, so I just closed them out so we can be mindful of time, everybody, and keep moving here.
Yep.
So the majority of people, 33%, they have been in a specific job, role, or company for an extended period of time. So you've been in the same position in some way, shape, or form for a long time. Okay, that makes sense. So the other thing we did want to say, though, too, which relates to the first one, is that the second highest rating is your workload has increased as a result. Thank you all for sharing. We greatly appreciate it. Hopefully this helps you know that you're not alone, okay? And this makes perfect sense to feel kind of burned out like this. So let's keep going to the next one. And our 10 tips are here listed on this slide. We'll go through these quickly today because we've got 10 of them. And by the way, too, I did want to mention we will have a few minutes of time for Q&A closer to the end. I do hold the questions until the end. Just makes it a little bit easier for me to kind of keep the momentum going. So we're going to talk about these 10. Let's dive into the assessment piece first. So we did the poll right up front about what's going on for you that is causing the burnout. But the other thing that we want you to do is tip number one in terms of assessing the situation is to take a step back and say, okay, am I not feeling as fulfilled and rewarded in my work? And that's part of what's going on. So you want to take a step back and do a little bit of a journaling exercise tonight or this weekend, for example, to think about, okay, what do I really want in my job? And just kind of brainstorm and really think big picture. But one of the things we would suggest is to get back, quote unquote, to that passion or enjoyment. So a question that you want to ask yourselves is, why did I get into this career path or into this job in the first place? What was appealing about it to me? Why did I take it at the beginning? So get back to, when you were in your early 20s or early or late 20s, whatever it was, that what motivated you and was exciting to you about taking a step into the career that you're in. Because sometimes we lose sight of that passion and enjoyment over time. It could be because our job has shifted or changed, or it could be a life situation or whatever it is. But thinking about, okay, why did I take this career step or take this job in the first place can help you think about what you need to get back to in terms of that passion or enjoyment. The second thing we want you to do in terms of this assessment, this first tip in assessing the situation, is we would highly recommend that you print out our ideal career model. So early on in my career as a coach, just about 20 years ago, I realized that we needed to have something for people to latch onto and to understand what it would take for them to be really satisfied in their career and have the right quote unquote career fit. This career model is the model that we use with all of our clients to help them determine if they are in the right career fit or if they need to make a change or shift or make a move. So the things that you need to assess in order to figure out, okay, what's going right in my current career or in my current job and what's not going as well is to use this model as a checklist. So the 8 things that you need to know about or understand about yourself in order to know if you're in the right career fit is on this slide. I'll take you through these just really quickly. Are you still being fulfilled and have a sense of accomplishment and reward in some way, shape, or form at your current position? That's the fulfillment piece. Do I get meaning out of what I do in some way, shape, or form? Do I perform tasks that I, for the most part, enjoy all day, every day? That's the enjoyment piece. This is about your top, most enjoyable tasks. Do you like, for the most part, what your tasks are or what you're assigned to do every day? Then you want to take a look at your strengths. Am I leveraging my top 5 strengths on a regular, consistent basis? That is really important to feeling like you're in the right fit and not being burned out. You want to think about your past education. Am I leveraging my education in a way that I want to? Which classes did I enjoy at the University of Minnesota? And are those things that I need to, be doing more often now because I loved them then and I've gotten away from it? What past experience do you want to be leveraging in your current position? And are you leveraging it enough? And then finally, taking a look at your personality type. Am I more introverted or extroverted? And does my current job and my role fit with that balance? Am I more of a leader or more of a taskmaster or a project manager? And does my current role fit with that? You want to think about your work environment and how your personality type would interplay with that. And are you in the right culture for you and at an organization that feels good, that can you believe in their values, their mission, et cetera? And then finally, are you being compensated adequately and in a way that makes you feel not burned out, but rewarded and valued as well? So this assessment piece is really important, everyone, bottom line, because this will tell you what might be going wrong and why you might be feeling or why you are feeling burned out, so that you can then pinpoint where you need to make changes versus just feeling totally overwhelmed and burned out and I don't know what to fix. The model can help tell you what you need to fix by evaluating this way. Take a look at tip number 2 here. After you've done that assessment, and we want you to do these tips or steps in order, is we want you to get take an assessment or evaluation of, okay, what are the top 5 things that need to be different based on the model and based on thinking about what's been going wrong. The examples could be, I need to reduce the use of one of my strengths, and I want to lift up or use one of these other strengths a lot more. So can I shift my role in some way? Can I do my job in a different way during the course of my day? Do I need to talk with my boss about, diving into a different project in order to leverage that other strength? Is there a way that I can just adjust my work environment? Is part of why I'm burned out that I don't have a good office space at home? Or I'm not connecting with my coworkers enough, and I need to schedule some coffee chats with them on a regular basis during the course of my week. One of the ways that you can start to identify what some of the things are that need to change is to track your hours for 2 days. In the next couple of days here, you can do tomorrow and Monday, for example, and literally have a pad of paper there and track where are you spending your time during the course of every single day, so you have a clear sense of what's actually going on in your typical workday instead of just making assumptions. That will help you get a big picture evaluation of, okay, here's what's going on in my workday, where am I spending my time, who am I spending it with, can give you clues to the things that you might need to change and what's going on, okay? And then as part of this assessment piece, then you want to say, okay, what do I need to change and how can I change it? Can you get your top 5 things that need to be adjusted in your current job, or do you need to switch roles or companies or organizations? Try to always achieve what you want to be different at your current position first. We always want to do that. Look in your own backyard. Are there things you can do? Get creative with it and really think about that first, because obviously that would be easier, especially during coronavirus. It is harder to conduct a job search right now. So we want you to sit tight for this next several months if you can, until we have a clearer sense of when things are going to get a little bit better and open up, okay? So make that evaluation though, because you might say to yourself, I really need to change career paths or move to a different organization. So let me start to identify what that is right now so that at the beginning of the year, I'm ready to hit the ground running, okay? Let's talk about tip number 3, and this is to stay in the know. So one of the things that we can do, and I would absolutely assert that everyone needs to do, regardless of how much you're burned out or not, and even if you're not as burned out to help prevent it, is we all need to kind of stay in the know with our industry and with our organization. We need to have new challenges, new software, something that we're learning, a new skill, because this also not just helps you have that sense of achievement, which we all want to have, it also will make you more marketable if you need to leave. We have had very few clients come to us and say, I just want to phone it in at my job. I don't want to have any challenges or anything else. The only people that have really told us that are people that are closer to retirement, and even those people that are closer to retirement, typically they still want to feel challenged. So one of the things to look at is, how long has it been since you've taken an online class from LinkedIn Learning or Coursera or whatever? How long has it been since you have attended a conference or actually learned something totally brand new in your job? This could be a clue to why you're burned out and one thing you want to add to your list. Tip number 4 is to put yourself out there more, okay? And to be a little bit more social, stay and get connected with your coworkers more, but also with your network outside of your organization too. Be a little bit more social. Like I said a minute ago, schedule some coffee chats. We've had clients, their boss would set up a virtual happy hour on Friday. This can help you feel more connected and therefore a little bit less burned out on your job because you're getting that energy from other people too. Attend virtual events. I know some of us might be like, okay, that sounds like it's not going to work very well, but I have attended several virtual conferences this year, and they'll put you in breakout rooms, and it is on video, just like chatting with someone in, well, I shouldn't say just like, but it is similar enough to chatting with someone in person. The breakout rooms is great. But keep in mind, we do want you to attend events within your organization, but also outside, and check out association meetings that may be going on. You'll learn about new things. This will help you feel and kind of stay fresh about what's going on, but like just give you a fresh perspective. And you might be invited to participate in another, conference, or, speak or participate in a project that someone is working on that they wouldn't have thought of you otherwise had you not been there. I attended a time management class in person recently before COVID, and it was fantastic. That had nothing to do with me being a better coach, but it was it just was so helpful for me to get some fresh new skills that it made a huge difference in all elements of what I do with my business, including my coaching. Tip number 5 is to volunteer your time a little bit. If you're the kind of person that feels like you're lacking a little bit of that meaning and sense of purpose maybe within your job, and right now is not the right time to go find something else that has more meaning for you, volunteer your time. It could be internally with work stuff or externally, just something completely unrelated to work. So it could be personal or professional volunteering. And by the way, we did want to mention to you that we've had clients do remote volunteering opportunities. Obviously, those are going to be specific and different from in-person ones. But we had a client, for example, in Atlanta who volunteered to help a nonprofit out in California update and upgrade their website. She was able to get some hands-on experience with Google Analytics and some skills and strengths that she wanted to build up to add to her resume. But as part of that, she was part of a team, so she expanded her network. She got a reference and testimonials from the client and from the team lead. So this can also not just give you that kind of sense of meaning, but it can also enhance and add to your skill set, and is a way to, add something to your resume that might be useful for you long term. We, in a webinar I was doing actually earlier this morning, one of the people there said, she's like, I need a hobby. I need something to do so that I'm not just working all day long, because now when we're working at home, it's just sitting right there. And so in some cases, this is about getting more inspired even outside of your work life. So consider those things too, whether it's volunteering, a hobby, or something else. Tip number 6 is to participate more actively with your team. As I was saying earlier, I've noticed just with talking with neighbors and that kind of thing, that we're starting to get up a little bit later because we're feeling a little bit less motivated because of COVID. So make a commitment to participate more actively with your team. You'll be seen and called upon to help with things you may not have otherwise. That will help you keep or stay driven and motivated to perform as well. So raise your hand, attend the meetings that you're feeling like, okay, I'm hesitant to do so, or start up some meetings, even if it's like personal, a book club, a virtual book club, to stay connected with people. Just make a commitment in the next several meetings, for example, to participate more actively, prepare more in advance, and participate more actively during that meeting, because that will help you kind of get in the groove a little bit more. Tip number 7 is to communicate with your boss regularly about what makes you feel fulfilled and how you're doing it at work. Don't just wait for the performance review. If you haven't spoken yet to your supervisor about how is it going during coronavirus and what you need to do to stay fresh and what you might need from them, you need to do that. They will keep you in mind for projects and other things that might help kind of boost your confidence, but also your motivation. If you're feeling overworked, or if you're feeling not as effective working remotely, we totally understand that. Ask them for some advice. Ask your coworkers, like, what do you do to create a schedule or routine for yourselves? That's one of the things that we have found with a lot of our clients, and we're telling them is now that, when you're working from home, you need to get into a routine and create a schedule for yourself that includes your lunch hour, your lunch half hour, breaks, et cetera, et cetera. You can't just kind of fly by the seat of your pants, because it's different now that we're not going into an office. You need to create your own structure for yourself. And also, you want to communicate with your boss regularly about your long-term career goals so that you can stay on track with what you want. And again, you're not just letting your career kind of go and meander, that you're in more control of it and you're letting them know what you want to keep on the right trajectory. Tip number 8, and then I'll launch our second poll here in just a second here. Let me go over to that, is to take a class. Online is the only way to do it right now. Coursera.org, edX, MOOC, LinkedIn Learning, these are all some great ones here that if you guys want to take a look at it, that would be great. Now, this is what I have to figure out. Relaunch the polling will clear existing polling results. Okay, everyone, bear with me. Why am I experiencing burnout? No,
I can
that's
see
that
it.
one.
Oh,
Oh, no, did I mess it up?
I think that was okay. Let's see.
Okay, hold on.
You can select from the top. There's like 3 options, kind of a click down arrow, and you can.
Okay, this is why. Oh, bear with me, everyone. I see it. Thanks, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Launch. Here we go. Yes. Okay. Technology. All right. Can you see it, Rebecca? Okay, good.
Yes.
So we're curious how many people have taken an online class. When we've asked this in the past, as you all can imagine, it's much less. But now this is all we can do. So most people have so far, 77%. And we're hoping that you all, here's what we have found is I'll just tell you, like LinkedIn Learning is fantastic. Online classes have shot up enormously, as you can imagine. We've had clients ask us, when I take an online course, should I put it on my resume or on my LinkedIn profile? Absolutely. It's adding to your skill set. So be proud of it. Put it on there. Put on the certification, whatever it is. So far, we've got 74%, let me share the results, have taken an online course. That is great. This may be something that you all want to commit to and say, I need to take a class every month, for example, until COVID is over, because I need to stay fresh and I need to have something for my brain to chew on outside of my regular workday. Set a goal for yourselves of whatever classes you want to take that make sense for you based on your schedule, et cetera. And I'm really glad to hear that people have taken advantage of it because there are some really good classes out there. So add this to your regular schedule and routine as much as possible, just like you are connecting with people on a more regular basis. Tip number 9 is to embrace, but also maybe cause change. And I'll clarify that as we go here. So first of all, with all of these changes due to coronavirus, we understand that it can be really, really stressful. It's unsettling for us. Not everyone feels comfortable working from home. They may not have the perfect office environment setting. We totally get it. So as much as you can, just try to be patient with yourself about it and go day by day and take baby steps towards making your office a little bit better and more comfortable. Setting boundaries with your work time, like I'm only working during these times, and I'm actually going to pack up and pack away my laptop and my desk so that I'm not tempted to work more, late into the night if that's not going to work for you. So try to be flexible with adjusting to the change, but also find new routines and tricks that you can help yourself create that work-life balance and kind of embrace and be okay with the positive parts of the changes versus pushing against them. The other thing that we want you to do, though, too, is to suggest updates or improvements to processes and systems that may be no longer working now that you're working remotely. But in order to stay and remain challenged or create a new challenge for yourself, identify an issue at work or something that needs to be fixed or a challenge that you've been having or an inefficiency, and think about ways to improve it. This can help you create kind of a new challenge within your own organization that will help you be seen as someone who sees an opportunity, takes advantage of it, and is willing to embrace it and do something about it. This will really show that you're a go-getter, obviously. If you not just embrace the change and are okay with it, but one of our clients in particular, we've been pushing her to say, hey, identify a need and go after it. Suggest an improvement or a change. Don't just wait for it to happen and wait for things to fall apart. And our last tip, tip number 10, is to create a career plan for yourselves. This is a good time during this time of change and uncertainty to really self-reflect and, go spend time with family, go outside, take a walk or whatever, but think about what you want for your career long term. We have found that a lot of our clients are it's almost like this forced self-reflection because things have changed so much because of COVID-19. that they're really, kind of forced and have been taking time to think about, what do I really want out of my career in the long run? And some people are saying, gosh, I love what I do, but I just can't do this remote thing. Or I really don't like my job anymore at all, and now I realize how much the culture and the environment is so important to me. So when it's time to go back, it needs to be a shift. So we want you to start thinking about creating a long-term strategic career plan for yourselves and think about, okay, can I stay at my current role based on what we've talked about today? Can I stay at my current role for a certain number of months and just make these, few changes along the way so I'm not feeling so burned out immediately? And then set goals for yourselves, 3, 6, and 12-month goals, and regularly update them so that you're creating a strategic career plan that is that you're more in the driver's seat, so to speak, and you're causing the changes that you want. Okay, so here's what we want to ask right now while we're talking about the strategic career plan. If you take a look at this next poll, everybody, we're curious how many people actually have a career plan, how many people do not, and how many people are not sure what that is. And please know, plenty of our clients don't know what it is either, so there's no shame here at all. That totally makes sense, and it's understandable if you don't. But this is a good time to start thinking about this, because too often when clients come to us, they're like, gosh, I have been, thinking about a career change and meaning to call you, and I'm not kidding. They'll tell us for years sometimes, like for the past 3 to 5 years, I've been unhappy and I just haven't done anything about it. And that's not what we want. We want people to be proactive about their career planning and path. You wouldn't just let your child's future just be unplanned and unstructured. It's the same thing for your career. So let's share the results here really quickly. 64% do not have a career plan, so you're in the right place talking about what we're talking about today. And then 22% say yes, good for you, and 13% are not sure what it is. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you all just really quickly, let me move this out of the way, is that we do have, if you need help with your strategic career plan, feel free to email us. We've got a template and we've got an audio that goes with it, a webinar that we host that is exactly about this topic, how to start to write and develop your strategic career plan. So email us at admin@halliecrawford.com. If you would like a copy of this, happy to share that with you. And then, by the way, if any of you feel like you need more help with anything we've talked about today, because we realize that, your unique situation may be different from someone else's, please feel free to set up a free strategy session with us. Happy to talk with you. You'll be set up with one of our career coaches, and we can give you additional advice about what we've talked about today, as well as talk with you about our coaching services and how they can help you achieve your career goals and get over this burnout once and for all. Let's go ahead and move to taking action, like we said at the beginning, and then we'll move into Q&A. Feel free to enter your questions into the Q&A box, and I will try to field those, and Rebecca will help me if I've missed any, because they might come in quickly and I need to kind of stay on top of it. But the first thing we want you to do as you're formulating your questions, everyone, is we want you to think about 2 action steps that you will take in the next week, okay? They can be baby steps, everybody. Sorry, when I'm talking so much, I start to stumble on them. They can be baby steps. Remember that with everything we've talked about today, one of the things I want you all to know is that small action steps in these different areas that we've shared can have a huge impact. You don't have to do 10 different things just to fix this burnout. Taking a class will help you feel so much better. Connecting with coworkers more frequently, if that's one of your needs, that in and of itself will help you feel a lot better. So some examples could be reviewing the model. That's a huge step that will help you enormously. It could be talking to your boss or supervisor about, what needs to be different or changed during the course of coronavirus that will help you feel more rewarded and fulfilled. Is it a change in schedule or something else? It could be scheduling a strategy session with us like we offered. Happy to do that with you. So let's go ahead and move to the Q&A portion here. And I realize we've given you all a lot of information. So if you need to digest for just a second and, formulate your questions, that's totally fine. And Rebecca, let me know as they start to come in too, just to make sure that I'm looking at the right place. I'm going to get a drink of water.
Thank you so much. That was great. I think a question that kind of comes to mind as I think about um, approaching your supervisor, you mentioned that. So what recommendations do you have for approaching your supervisor about maybe changing teams or working on different projects to help reduce burnout? Like what does that, what does that look like in real life?
Yeah, right. Because I know that when I say that, it's like, really? I don't want to go talk to my boss and complain about my workload because they'll think I'm, lazy or whatever. So it is about setting this up effectively and communicating with them effectively. So you want to position it as that you could be more effective if, or even more effective if you were able to, work on this type of project. So would it be possible for me to, adjust my role just a little bit because I feel like it would be a better use in some ways of my strengths. And I feel like I might get a sense of reward by doing that as well. So that's a way that you can position it is you're going towards the positive outcome. You're not complaining about what's going on or, whatever it is. You're saying, I would like this because I think it would be a really good use of my time and my strengths. Does that kind of answer, Rebecca, as a start?
Yeah, definitely. And we looks like we have a few more questions coming into the queue now. One person asked, how do I fight career burnout when I'm overwhelmed in a job I love and only have 6 years left into retirement? I'm guessing it's just about assessing what I need to cut out.
That's a great start. So great question. Thank you for posing that. And I would say yes. If the problem is overwhelmed and overworked, I would say two things. If there are things that you can cut out, that would be good. The other thing, though, too, is that sometimes we feel overwhelmed and maybe overworked if we're being asked to do tasks or perform tasks that don't play to our strengths as much. So if there are things, too, that that maybe instead of just cutting things out, it could be some of that, but it could also be shifting your role a little bit, if that's possible, to things that would play to your strengths more. That could help as well, because when we're doing things that play to your strengths, you're going to feel more in the flow and typically a little bit less overwhelmed. So think about the strengths piece too. We've got some more, which is great.
Yeah, it looks like there's two questions that are kind of similar in nature regarding asking your supervisor for more responsibilities and in some ways maybe turning that into an avenue for career progression instead of just taking more. How do you respond to that?
Sure, that's a great one as well. Thanks for that. So similar to what I said before, where it would be, I would like to and feel ready to move to the next level. And having a conversation with them and saying, what are the responsibilities that I can and take on that could take the place of some of the things I'm doing now so that I can start to move up? So just be clear it's about the career progression and, what are the things I need to be doing that are new or differently instead of these other things in order to move up. That's how you want to say that so it's a little bit easier. Oops, sorry, I went back because I was going over here.
That's okay.
The ideal career model. So great question. So just briefly, the model itself is basically the 8 things that you need to take into consideration in order to know if you're in the right job from kind of the most basic standpoint. It also helps people, though, brainstorm career ideas. And for our purposes today, if you use the model for the purposes of figuring out burnout, if you use the model to say, my job is a fit right now in terms of each of these 8 pieces. I'm fulfilled, I'm using my strengths, I'm performing tasks that I enjoy, I'm in the right work environment. That's how you want to use it for the purposes that we're talking about today, as a checklist that will tell you what's working and what's not working. That's a great question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, sometimes I like to think of those like pros and cons and list the things that are working well and the things that are not, and see how those what they look like side by side to see what energizes me and what's not energizing me at the time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly the way to think about it. That's perfect. All right, and then the next question is, how do I fight burnout when I've been in a specific industry for over 35 years and 25 of them at the same place. That's a long time, where I am presently. I want to help people and create in my new position. I'm totally willing to accept a lower salary in order to be more fulfilled. Okay, so what you need to do is think about, can you get that fulfillment at your current position? Again, you use the career model like we talked about just a second ago and say, okay, what's working and what's not working? But really look at that fulfillment piece and say, okay, what does give me meaning now? And for example, who do I want to help in terms of helping people? What do I want to help them with? And what's the overall impact I want to have on these people? Can you do that at your current job? And if not, you may want to think about, do I need to make a course correction? Do I need to shift to a different department within my organization? Or I still like my role and my job itself and my job title, but I need to go do it at a different company or organization where I can get more of that meaning. So those are the steps I would take, that assessment using the model, think about the fulfillment piece, that one in really great depth, and then figure out, can I get that where I am now, or do I need to make a shift, okay? And then our last question, for now at least, is there a strengths test that you'd recommend? I've taken a personality one, but not one professionally. Great question. And I did want to say something to you all related to this about the model too. So we actually like the Strengths Finder assessment. The website is strengthsfinder.com, and we suggest that to our clients. We find it's really good for professional purposes. It does bleed into personal too, but it's mostly professional. And those are really, really useful to help assess your strengths. We also find the personality tests very useful as well. The thing that I want you all to get, though, and let me just go back to this if I could just really, really quickly here. The assessments, they give you accurate information, everyone, in a short period of time. But I want you to see the model here for just a second, because the only thing, the caveat about them is that the assessments are only testing you for one piece of the model. So keep in mind that you can't just take a career test and then suddenly you know your career direction, because the assessments, very few of them account for compensation or work environment. They may just be telling you about your personality type or your strengths. Usually they tell you just about one piece. So you have to fill in the blanks with a coach like us or on your own or whatever it is. This is what we do with our clients, is we help them fill all the pieces in and then help them figure out, okay, how do I take my strengths and then brainstorm career ideas from that? That's where they fall short. So I'm not bashing the assessments. They're fantastic. But just keep in mind, it's not the whole complete picture, okay? So the strengthsfinder.com assessment, that's the one that we like the best. Okay. Any other questions? I'm just going to go to the end here to give you all our contact information, because I did want to say that if anyone has additional questions that they'd like to ask later on, or if you'd like to learn more about our coaching services, it's the same email. We'll set up a complimentary, just a free call with you to make sure it's the right match and everything. But if you all do have questions about what we talked about today, and may come up in the next few weeks, keep our contact info. We'd be happy to answer those via email as well.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I was thinking about other assessments that kind of come to mind. I do like Strengths Finder myself. I know there's also a life values inventory. That's a free assessment that folks can find online. That could also be really helpful to kind of assessing maybe position fit and environmental fit based on your own life values and seeing alignment there. That's also a good one too, so I can send that in a follow-up email too.
Oh, good. Yeah, the values assessment is huge. We most often find that people are either burned out or not in the right career fit as a result of the values not being aligned. It's a huge one, so that's a great recommendation. Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, looks like we don't have any more questions. I think this was awesome. I wrote down a few different takeaways for myself, like thinking about maybe setting up some more coffee chats. Those are always nice. And, you know, sometimes when we get into the swing of things, we can just head into our work and just not pick ourselves up to look around and make connections with others. And I think that's a really good point you made today. And just thinking about like embracing change and thinking about like going into this new, some people might be a new fiscal year for some folks, new academic year for others, however we want to talk about it. So thinking about these different strategies to kind of reinvigorate ourselves and re-energize ourselves. So this was amazing. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you for hosting, and thank you everyone for being here today. We greatly appreciate it and hope it was helpful for you.
Yes, have a great day.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.